Narcissists thrive on attention, whether positive or negative. Their entire sense of self-worth is built on the reactions they get from others, and they will go to great lengths to provoke emotional responses. They love drama, manipulation, and control because it keeps them in the center of everything. When you react strongly, whether with anger, frustration, or even trying to prove your point, it feeds their need for power. The more you engage, the more they feel validated. The key to making them miserable is to cut off their supply by refusing to give them your energy. The moment you stop reacting the way they expect, you take away their power. It's not easy, especially if they have conditioned you to respond to their every move. They are masters of pushing buttons, bringing up past arguments, and twisting the narrative to make you feel guilty or responsible. The more emotionally invested you are, the more they thrive. This is why they provoke you. They need your reactions to feel important. When you stop engaging, they become lost because their sense of superiority depends on you playing the game. One of the most effective ways to stop giving a narcissist your energy is to practice emotional detachment. This doesn't mean you don't care about the situation, but rather that you refuse to let them control your emotions. When they try to bait you with passive-aggressive comments, accusations, or guilt trips, remain calm and composed. Instead of reacting, respond with neutrality. A simple "I see" or "okay" can throw them off because they expect an emotional reaction. The less you react, the more they start to panic, realizing their usual tactics no longer work. Another way to stop giving them your energy is by limiting your interactions. If you must communicate with them, keep it brief and to the point. Don't engage in long, drawn-out discussions where they twist words and create confusion. Stick to facts, avoid personal feelings, and refuse to be drawn into their emotional traps. If possible, reduce the amount of time you spend around them. If they are a coworker, keep your interactions professional. If they are a friend or family member, set clear boundaries about how and when you communicate. Narcissists also use social media as a tool to seek attention and validation. They may post things to provoke a reaction, whether it's directed at you or meant to get sympathy from others. The best approach? Ignore it. Don't engage in online arguments, don't comment on their posts, and don't stalk their activity. The more you disengage, the more they feel invisible, which is something they absolutely hate. They want you to be obsessed, checking in, reacting, but when you stop caring, they start losing control. It's also important to recognize the psychological toll narcissistic relationships take. They drain your energy, make you second-guess yourself, and create constant emotional turmoil. Every moment spent engaging with their manipulation is a moment you could be using to focus on yourself. Instead of wasting energy on them, redirect it to your own well-being. Spend time with people who genuinely care about you, pursue hobbies that bring you joy, and focus on your personal growth. The more you shift your focus away from them and toward yourself, the weaker their hold becomes. Walking away from the cycle of emotional engagement doesn't mean you're weak or avoiding conflict. It means you are choosing peace over chaos. Narcissists thrive in a world of constant fighting and mind games, but you don't have to play. The best revenge is showing them that they no longer have a place in your mind. They will try harder at first, testing new ways to provoke a response. But eventually, when they realize you are no longer affected by their behavior, they will move on in search of a new source of validation. By refusing to give them your energy, you take back your power. You show them that they're not as important as they think they are. You free yourself from their control, and that is the ultimate victory. The less you react, the more miserable they become, because without your attention, their world starts to crumble. Let them sink in their own emptiness while you rise above it. Setting boundaries with a narcissist is one of the most powerful ways to protect yourself from their manipulation. They thrive on control, pushing limits, and testing how much they can get away with. If you don't set firm boundaries, they will walk all over you, draining your energy and leaving you emotionally exhausted. The key is to stand your ground, be clear about what you will and will not tolerate, and enforce those boundaries without guilt. Narcissists hate boundaries because they challenge their sense of entitlement. They believe they have the right to invade your personal space, dictate how you should feel, and demand your time and attention whenever they please. When you establish firm limits, they will often react with anger, guilt-tripping, or playing the victim. They may accuse you of being selfish, uncaring, or even unreasonable. But the truth is, boundaries are not about controlling them. They're about protecting yourself. One of the first steps in setting boundaries is recognizing what behaviors are unacceptable to you. Whether it's constant criticism, emotional manipulation, or disregard for your personal time, you need to identify where you draw the line. Once you know your limits, you must communicate them clearly and assertively. This doesn't mean engaging in long debates or justifying your choices. Narcissists love to argue and twist words to make you question yourself. Instead, be direct and firm. A simple statement like, "I will not tolerate being spoken to that way," or "I am not available to discuss this right now," sends a clear message. Enforcing boundaries requires consistency. Narcissists will test you, pushing to see if they can break through. They might start small, ignoring your request, making passive-aggressive comments, or trying to guilt you into bending your rules. If you give in even once, they see it as a green light to keep pushing. That's why you must remain firm. If you say you won't engage in arguments, then don't. If you decide not to answer late-night texts, stick to it. Your actions need to align with your words, or they will see your boundaries as empty threats. One of the most effective ways to set boundaries is through emotional detachment. Narcissists thrive on emotional reactions, so when you refuse to engage in their games, they become frustrated. Stay calm, don't justify yourself, and don't feel the need to explain every decision you make. You don't owe them an explanation for prioritizing your well-being. When they try to provoke you, respond with neutrality. A simple, "I'm not discussing this," or "that's my decision," leaves no room for manipulation. Another important aspect of boundary setting is limiting access. If a narcissist constantly disrespects your limits, reduce the time and energy you give them. This might mean minimizing conversations, cutting back on interactions, or even going no contact if necessary. You are not obligated to entertain their toxic behavior. If someone refuses to respect your boundaries, they don't deserve a place in your life. Expect backlash. Narcissists do not handle rejection well, and boundaries feel like rejection to them. They might try to manipulate you through guilt, play the victim, or even lash out in anger. They may try to make you feel like you're the bad guy for standing up for yourself. Don't fall for it. Remember, their reaction is not your responsibility. Your job is to protect your peace, not manage their emotions. One of the hardest parts of setting boundaries is overcoming guilt. Many people struggle with feeling selfish for prioritizing their well-being, especially if the narcissist is a family member or close friend. But setting boundaries is not selfish. It's an act of self-respect. You have the right to protect your mental and emotional health. The people who truly care about you will respect your limits. The ones who don't were only interested in controlling you. At the end of the day, boundaries are a sign of strength. They show that you value yourself enough to say, "I deserve better." The more you practice setting and enforcing them, the easier it becomes, and the more miserable it makes a narcissist, because without access to your time, energy, and emotions, they lose their grip on you. Keep your boundaries firm and watch them struggle to figure out why they can't control you anymore. That's the ultimate power move. Arguing with a narcissist is like stepping into a never-ending maze. You will never find your way out, and they will always change the path to keep you trapped. No matter how logical, reasonable, or fair you try to be, a narcissist will twist your words, deflect blame, and manipulate the conversation to serve their own needs. They don't argue to resolve conflicts or understand your perspective. They argue to win, to dominate, and to exhaust you emotionally. That's why the smartest move is to refuse to engage. Narcissists are masters of turning simple discussions into heated debates. They provoke reactions by gaslighting, shifting blame, or bringing up unrelated past events to make you feel guilty or defensive. The moment you take the bait, they have you exactly where they want you, emotionally invested and desperate to prove your point. But the truth is, no matter how much evidence you provide, how clearly you explain yourself, or how calm you try to remain, they will always find a way to spin the argument in their favor. They don't care about truth, they care about control. One of their favorite tactics is gaslighting, making you question your own reality. If you confront them about something hurtful they did, they might respond with, "That never happened," or "You're too sensitive." If you bring up a broken promise, they might say, "You're remembering it wrong," or "You always exaggerate." Over time, these manipulations make you doubt your own memory and judgment, forcing you into a defensive position. The more you argue, the more you play into their hands. Another trick narcissists use is deflection. When they feel backed into a corner, they will change the subject, blame you for something unrelated, or even turn themselves into the victim. If you call them out on their toxic behavior, they might respond with, "Well, what about the time you did this?" Or, "You're the one making a big deal out of nothing." This is not an accident, it's a strategy to wear you down. The more you defend yourself, the less focus remains on their wrongdoing. Narcissists also use emotional triggers to keep arguments going. They know exactly what buttons to push to make you react, whether it's bringing up a past mistake, insulting something important to you, or pretending they don't care about your feelings. Their goal is to make you angry, frustrated, or upset because emotional reactions give them power. When you lose your cool, they can accuse you of being irrational or difficult, further shifting the blame away from themselves. The best way to deal with this is to refuse to engage. Keep your responses short, neutral, and unemotional. Use phrases like, "I'm not discussing this," "You're entitled to your opinion," or simply walk away. Silence is more powerful than any argument because it denies them the reaction they crave. They will try harder at first, pushing more buttons, making bigger accusations, but if you stay firm, they will eventually realize that their tactics no longer work. By refusing to argue, you take back control. You show them that their manipulations no longer affect you, and that is what truly makes a narcissist miserable. One of the most effective ways to make a narcissist miserable is to level up without them. Narcissists thrive on control, manipulation, and making others feel dependent on them. They want to be the center of your world, your source of validation, and the reason for your success or happiness. When you break free from their influence and start growing, thriving, and becoming the best version of yourself without their involvement, it drives them crazy. Nothing frustrates a narcissist more than realizing they no longer have power over you. The first step in leveling up without them is reclaiming your sense of self. Narcissists have a way of making you question your own worth, talents, and abilities. They may have spent years belittling your dreams, making you doubt your decisions, or subtly implying that you're not good enough on your own. Now is the time to rewrite that narrative. Remind yourself of who you are outside of their influence. Reconnect with old passions, set new goals, and start focusing on self-improvement, whether it's advancing in your career, picking up a new skill, or simply working on your mental and emotional well-being. Every step you take toward growth is a step away from their control. A crucial part of leveling up is surrounding yourself with positive, supportive people. Narcissists often isolate their victims, making them feel like they have no one else to turn to. This is a manipulation tactic designed to make you dependent on them. Breaking free from this requires rebuilding your support system. Strengthen old friendships, make new connections, and invest in relationships that uplift and inspire you. When you have a strong network of people who genuinely care about your well-being, the narcissist's ability to manipulate you weakens. They lose their grip and you regain a sense of belonging and confidence. Another way to grow without them is by focusing on self-care and mental resilience. Narcissistic relationships often leave people feeling drained, anxious, and emotionally unstable. Healing from their influence requires intentional self-care. This means prioritizing your mental health, setting firm boundaries, and engaging in activities that bring you joy and fulfillment. Exercise, meditation, therapy, journaling, and other self-care practices can help rebuild your emotional strength. The stronger and more independent you become, the more powerless the narcissist feels. Success is another powerful way to level up. Narcissists love to believe they are the reason for your achievements. They either take credit for your success or try to downplay it to keep you dependent on their validation. The moment you start succeeding without their involvement, they feel threatened. Whether it's excelling in your career, launching a new project, or even just finding happiness in your daily life, your success without them is a direct blow to their ego. The key is to stay focused on your goals, not to seek revenge or prove anything to them, but because you deserve to thrive. Perhaps the most important part of leveling up is refusing to look back. Narcissists hate losing control, so when they see you moving forward, they may try to pull you back in. They might suddenly act nicer, promise to change, or try to guilt trip you into reconnecting. Don't fall for it. Remember why you left in the first place. Growth means leaving toxic patterns behind and refusing to let the past dictate your future. Keep moving forward, keep improving, and let your progress be the proof that you never needed them to succeed. By focusing on your personal growth, happiness, and success, you strip the narcissists of their power. They want you to stay stuck, doubting yourself and seeking their approval. When you show them that you are thriving without them, they are left with nothing to hold on to. Their control dissolves and their manipulation fails. You, on the other hand, step into a life of freedom, confidence, and endless possibilities. And that is the ultimate victory. Letting go of the need for revenge is one of the most powerful things you can do when dealing with a narcissist. It's completely understandable to feel anger, resentment, and even the desire to make them suffer after all the pain they have caused you. Narcissists manipulate, belittle, and take advantage of others, often leaving emotional wounds that take time to heal. The idea of getting even might seem satisfying in the moment, but in reality, it keeps you stuck in their toxic cycle. The truth is, the best revenge is no revenge at all, just moving on and living well. When you focus on revenge, you are still emotionally tied to the narcissist. You may not realize it, but plotting ways to hurt them, expose them, or make them feel what you felt means they still have control over your emotions. They are still occupying space in your mind, dictating your thoughts and energy. This is exactly what they want. Narcissists thrive on keeping you engaged, whether it's through love, hate, or conflict. By seeking revenge, you are giving them what they crave, your attention. The real power move is to completely remove them from your life, mentally and emotionally. Another reason to let go of revenge is that narcissists don't respond to consequences the way normal people do. You might think that exposing their lies, ruining their reputation, or making them feel small will teach them a lesson, but it won't. Narcissists don't experience guilt or shame the way healthy individuals do. Instead of reflecting on their actions, they will either play the victim, twist the situation to make you look like the villain, or find a way to manipulate things in their favor. No matter how justified your revenge may feel, it won't bring you the closure you're looking for. Instead of wasting your energy trying to hurt them, redirect that energy into healing yourself. Focus on your personal growth, happiness, and success. The best way to make a narcissist miserable is to show them that they no longer have any control over you. When they see you thriving, happy, and completely unbothered by their existence, it will drive them insane. Narcissists want to believe they are the center of your world. When they realize they no longer affect you, they lose their power. Forgiveness is not about excusing their behavior or letting them off the hook. It's about freeing yourself from the weight of anger and resentment. Holding on to anger only hurts you in the long run. It keeps you trapped in the past, replaying painful memories and reliving the trauma. Letting go is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength. It means you refuse to let their toxicity define you any longer. Healing from a narcissistic relationship takes time, but it starts with shifting your focus. Instead of thinking about how to hurt them, think about how to build yourself up. Invest in your mental and emotional well-being. Reconnect with friends and loved ones who truly care about you. Pursue your passions, set new goals, and create a life that makes you genuinely happy. Every step you take toward your own success is a step away from their influence. In the end, revenge is a waste of your precious time and energy. It keeps you stuck in a cycle of pain when you deserve peace. The real victory is walking away, living your best life, and proving, without even trying, that you never needed them to begin with. When you let go of revenge, you take back your power, and that is the ultimate freedom. One of the most powerful ways to heal and move forward after dealing with a narcissist is to find your people and keep it real. Narcissists thrive on isolation. They want you to feel alone, misunderstood, and dependent on them for validation. They manipulate situations to make you question your relationships with others, often driving a wedge between you and the people who truly care about you. The key to breaking free from their influence is rebuilding your support system, surrounding yourself with people who uplift, support, and genuinely care for you. Finding your people means reconnecting with those who truly have your best interests at heart. Maybe you lost touch with old friends or distanced yourself from family members because the narcissist convinced you they weren't good for you. Now is the time to reach out. True friends and loved ones will welcome you back with open arms, understanding that you are in a difficult situation. They won't judge you for the past. They will be happy to see you reclaiming your life. Building a strong support system also means seeking out new connections. Surround yourself with people who align with your values, who respect you, and who encourage your growth. This could be through joining a club, taking a class, attending support groups, or even engaging in online communities of people who have experienced similar situations. The goal is to create a circle of people who genuinely want to see you succeed and who don't need to control or manipulate you to feel powerful. Keeping it real means being honest with yourself and with those around you. After dealing with a narcissist, it's easy to fall into the habit of people-pleasing or hiding your true feelings out of fear of judgment. But real relationships are built on authenticity. You don't need to pretend to be someone you're not just to keep people around. The right people will appreciate you for who you are, flaws and all. They will respect your boundaries, listen without judgment, and support you without expecting anything in return. Being real also means allowing yourself to be vulnerable. After being in a toxic relationship, it's natural to put up walls, fearing that people will hurt you again. But not everyone is like the narcissist you dealt with. There are good people in the world, people who genuinely care, who want to see you happy, and who won't use your vulnerability against you. It takes time to trust again, but allowing yourself to open up little by little will help you form deeper, more meaningful connections. Healing is not a solo journey. Having a strong support system helps you stay grounded, reminds you of your worth, and gives you a sense of belonging. When you surround yourself with positive, supportive people, the narcissist loses any remaining grip on you. Their words, their manipulations, their control, it all fades into the background when you have real people reminding you of who you truly are. At the end of the day, finding your people and keeping it real is about choosing relationships that add to your life, not drain it. It's about surrounding yourself with authenticity, love, and respect. It's about moving forward with confidence, knowing you are supported, valued, and no longer under the narcissist's control. That is true freedom.